Hooah! What's up, everybody? I don't know if you can see me. Facebook's always got this weird delay. I think we're live. There we go. Did that work? It worked. Maybe not. Is the timer counting? Exciting times, by the way, to be alive, for better or worse. It's crazy time to be a human, to be starting an agency, to be growing an agency, to be running a very successful agency. For those of you guys, by the way, who've been interested, just a quick little announcement in the mastermind. I've been asked a lot if I'm going to be, usually you can't join the mastermind directly. I have to invite you to one of our little kind of one-off workshops, and if we like it, we can continue onwards. But I'm offering a trial right now for those of you guys who are interested in checking it out and seeing if it is something that can benefit you. Just so you guys know, the people who generally benefit the most from it have usually between like 5 and 15-ish clients and are looking to go bigger, either in terms of the cash collected or the number of clients, and do it phoneless and meetingless. That's kind of my specialty. So that's it. Let's get into the Q&A. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Finn proudly brings to you our weekly Q&A. My man Dave is here. What's up, Dave? Dude, we are overdue for a catch-up, and I know I am slacking on my part of our work on our project. Just so you know, I'm juggling a bunch of balls as you are in the air that have more to do with life than business, but I'm going to get that done. So I haven't forgotten about you, my man. I know I'm a terrible partner right now. So let's get into the questions here. Rafat asked, what metrics should I be looking at deciding the winning ad creative? CPR, CTR, because Facebook keeps allocating budget to a specific ad. This specific ad has a high CPR. Other ads have a lower CPR and higher click-through rate. So why Facebook allocating budget to this high CPR ad? Nice job, Dave. Landing a client. Woo! Offer making skills. I love actually what you've been doing actually to help your clients so far. Just those small direct realizations and just simplifying. It's a lot of times it's the pieces we remove, not the ones we add, that make it better. Rafat, as far as your question, all right, this is something nobody tells you when you get started. There is a hidden metric that is the most important metric, and it's called, are the right people clicking and buying? Okay, so for example, if I run an ad and I get a bunch of broke starting out lawyers, and those, like, they're usually good people, but they're not good clients, right? If they don't have any money and they're struggling and they don't know how to close deals and they don't know how to answer the phone, those tend to not make the best clients. If I have a really high click-through rate of those people, would you consider that a success? Because I'll tell you, I wouldn't personally. And so a big part of it is making sure your ads get the right people. So that means, okay, click-through rate and CPR and even leads and signups are indicators, but they are not the whole story. What you want to focus most of all are the right people coming through the machine and coming out the other side. You want to think of your ad as, one of my mentors describes it as a bouncer at a nightclub. And the bouncer's job is only to let in the right people. So what you want to focus on more than anything, especially if you got a high ticket offer, like if you're selling mass market $3 plastic trinkets, then you're probably correct price point is anyone. But if you're selling something like of real value that's going to change somebody's life, you got to get it in the hands of the right people. So don't look at all the vanity metrics, like people get hung up in Facebook likes and Instagram followers. None of those mean shit. You can have a small Facebook group of 100 people and be doing a couple $100,000 from it if they're the right people. So the right people, that's the right metric. That was a good rant. I'm proud of myself. Ollie. Question for e-commerce agencies. Do you use any performance money-back guarantees to improve your closing ratio? Ollie, I don't work with e-commerce, but a lot of people in our group do. Yes, guarantees and things like that will improve your closing ratios. What I'll tell you, though, what you have to be very, very careful for is that you make those offers to the right people, because otherwise you're going to just end up having a lot of refunds, not at all related to you or what you're doing. And the biggest indicator, by the way, is their product selling already, or their products? Are people buying them already? Because if I was guaranteeing and being on the hook, what I would not do is take your product from 0 to 1. In other words, like a product that's never been proven, I would not guarantee taking it from 0 to 1. But if you got a product that's already at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then taking it from 5 to 10, you could absolutely guarantee. So what you want to look for is that, remember, we are amplifiers of success, but we don't turn losers into winners, for lack of a better term. So make sure, if you're going to make those guarantees, that you're just making them to the right people. Otherwise, you're just going to be on the hook for a bunch of refunds, and that sucks. Tate, what software does everyone use to manage their clients, specifically with relation to cross-department projects, copywriting, web development, content creation, graphic design? I know our man Dave, who's on here right now. Dave is a huge proponent of ClickUp. I've heard a lot of good things about ClickUp. I have no direct experience. I'm a simple guy. Like, when I actually do stuff in real life, I take a notepad and I make little old school to-do lists. Like, I try and, every time I've been to like a really great mastermind or event, almost always people put their phones away and started doing work with a notepad, and it always just kind of stuck with me. And so I do my stuff on a notepad. And so I like Asana because it's just like a digital notepad. Like, my little tiny tech-hating brain can wrap it around it. Dave, on the other hand, can build fancy automations and all those things. So a lot of people like ClickUp. Some people like Trello if you're more visual. Those are some of the ones I hear a lot. But I don't know. Like, try it out and see which one is right for you, because there's no like one right answer for everybody. Like, if you're like me and you like doing checklists, you'll probably like Asana. If you're very visual and you like Post-it notes, like Trello is a digital version of that. So my question is, like, how do you do it already? And then how can you like make the software like just make your life easier? But the best thing you can do is just try it and find out. Matthew, hey all, just wanted to hear from the industry. What outreach methods have been working for your companies in the last 24 to 48 months? We've been trying out email marketing cold for so long without much success. Started working with a LinkedIn appointment setter too, so I'm hoping that works out. We'd like to start running paid ads, but we're looking to be more liquid so we don't have to count pennies on our ad budgets. Do cold calling, Facebook, Instagram still work? Our company's pretty ready to take on 20 new clients this year. It's just the sales aspect of things that are holding us back. Matthew, I just finished reading a book by Alex Hormozi called $100 Million, and the principle of the book is how to make offers that are so good people would be stupid to say no to them. And that is the sales secret right there. It is not whether people get too hung up, does outreach work? Does Instagram work? Does LinkedIn work? And I promise the answer is, for a lot of people, yes, and for most people, no. And the reason it works for the people who have yes, and the reason it doesn't work for all the people who are no, is almost always what they're offering is just something people don't want. And the biggest thing that people most generically offer is they say, I'm going to get you more leads and more sales. I'm going to get you more leads and more sales. And not that there's anything wrong with that message. It's just been so beaten to death and so overused. So I got a post in the group that talks about how to create a mini monopoly so that you're the only one offering what you do. I would start there, because without having something really unique and different, you're just going to have a hard time. Like, without the offer in place, it's an uphill boulder. It's not your cold outreach. It's not your LinkedIn. It's not your ads. It's because what you're saying is just too similar to everyone else. And you get the offer dialed in, and it's like swimming with the current. All of a sudden, things are easy, and appointments are easy to book. Hamza. Hello, everyone. I want to know if I can target a specific individual on Facebook, like an influencer or celebrity. I think I get a loud-ass garbage truck going by here or something. I don't think you can, on Facebook ads, target one person. Although I've seen it done on LinkedIn. You can create audience as small as 7 people and have that influencer in those 7 people. But I'll tell you, much, much better than that is just think about how you can target them in general, not limit yourself to Facebook. So I'm like, one of the things I've been going after is Joe Dispenza for the last year. I still haven't broken through on that, but I'm not going to stop. But one of the things I think about when I'm trying to reach somebody like that is, what is the least crowded channel? So for me, it was like, oh, well, nobody sends mail anymore, so I'm going to try and reach them through mail. Or I would add them if they had a profile on Instagram or whatever. But like, think about what's the least crowded way you're going to reach them, and then of course have something meaningful to say to them. But don't try and limit yourself to thinking you have to do a Facebook ad to reach somebody. Chet Holmes has a concept called the Dream 100. It's like the 100 people you would most love to work with in the world. Like, make that list out and then start thinking about how you can reach those people. And it might be a little bit different for each one, but you'll be amazed that you can, in fact, reach all those people. Michael, out of interest, how much does everyone pay per lead in the B2B space? I'm in a branding and running lead gen adverts. I'm seeing around 10 British pounds cost per lead, which is very high considering a few years ago I used to pay around 4. Okay, Michael, here's the deal. One of the reasons why you want to make your offers more and more valuable and help people generate more and more money and those kind of things is because this is what ad costs do over time. Up, 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 up. It's happened on every platform in existence. especially auction based, and that's just going to keep continuing till the end of time. So expect your lead cost to go up over time. What you need to be thinking about is how can I pay the most per customer. Now, there is no one size fit all. B2B is a whole like bunch of different niches. So the idea, like how much should you pay per lead? The real question is how much can you personally pay for lead, because it doesn't really matter. Like in personal injury, my leads are going to be more expensive than say somebody who's, I don't know, selling like cookies on the, I would eat some cookies right now actually. But point being is that like not all leads are created equal, not all niches are created all equal, not all industries. It doesn't really matter. What you want to focus on is getting leads at a cost that works for you, getting the right people at the right price, and then increasing that value. And the best way I've found to do that, by the way, is to have the clients for the longest. Like if you have a client who pays you 10, 20, 30 years, then you're going to be able to pay way more money on that front end lead. People don't realize how much those two metrics are connected. The longer people stay, the more you can pay for a lead. Like let's say, for example, you're running a $1,000 a month Facebook ad service, okay? If you're like most people, you're going to keep people 3 to 4 months, which means you're going to make about $3,000 to $4,000 before any costs or anything like that. Now imagine somebody else in the industry is still doing $1,000 a month, but keeping people 5 months. Well, they're going to make 60 grand. So that person can spend 5 grand to go get a client because they're going to be worth 60 grand to them, and you will never be able to compete with them. And if you switch that, so the biggest thing that's going to impact your lead cost is long-term customer value. So start thinking about that, and your lead cost won't matter nearly as much. Vince, what's the quickest way to obtain new Go High level clients from a sales conversion point of view? I have noticed a few Go High level services showing the price on their websites. They have 2 or 3 price options, and the clients simply sign themselves up. My question is to show the price or not show the price. Who has experimented with both? Vince, I have done both, not with Go High level. I haven't gone on the Go High level software craze that everybody's on right now and selling software to agencies. And I know a lot of people doing that and have had success with that, but I've had a lot of success selling things in general and understanding the psychological principles. And here's what I've learned about putting price. Everybody in our industry says price goes at the very end. This idea that like if you're going to give somebody a heart attack about the price, wait till to the very end, because what you want to do is they have to be contextualized with value. Now, if you understand that all you're doing on a sales call when you show the price at the very end is you've built up the value. Now, here's the thing. You can actually build up the value and the price right at the beginning and have somebody have a heart attack right at the beginning, and I found that to be far, far better. I don't like getting on the phone and chasing people so that you can tell them a price and then finding out it's too much money at the end. I would rather somebody who wants to talk to me already knows the price. And so I know conventional wisdom says leave the price, wait, but I'm telling you, price at the beginning. Now here's the reason most people don't do it. They say, well, I need to feel you out on a call and I need to make sure you're the right person and all those things. I've actually found better lead quality by putting the price and being upfront with people, because those tend to be more of the go-getters. And the really busy, successful people don't have time to sit on a 90-minute phone call with you just to find out how much your offer costs. The real go-getters, just like if it's in their budget and they're going to do it and they see the value, they'll just book it right away. And so you actually tend to end up with better quality people by just being real about the price. Now, where most people are scared is if your service is commoditized, meaning they can get it anywhere, then you've got to kind of hide the price and not tell people. But that's a whole different discussion, is getting out of that box. So anyways, that's my experience with that. Brian, do any of you use Go High Level for your agency marketing software? I would love to hear your experience and if it's worth it. Brian, really, really simple. I don't. This is just me personally, although we've got a few people in the mastermind using it right now. My experience is I started in 2007, and I would say I have probably had to learn between 5 and 20 new pieces of software every year for 14 straight years. So like I've probably learned 300 different kinds of software. So I intentionally run a very, very low software, low maintenance kind of agency, low tech on purpose, because I'm just sick of learning new shit. I'm sick of being dependent on software. Having said that, if there are things that you are regularly doing that you have to automate, such as like SMS messaging people, doing email follow-ups, building pages, integrating campaigns, following up with leads. Go High Level is very good as like kind of an all-in-one CRM. From what I understand from those people who use it, it's a little bit buggy, as most kind of all-in-one tools are, but it saves a lot of time and headaches. So if you're doing those things, yes, it's worth it. If you're not, that no, it's probably not, but that's kind of my general feeling on it. Can you please share, how did you choose your niche? What research did you do to determine that niche is profitable once you decided to work in it? Anwar, I'm a bad example, by the way, of how to choose a niche. I was listening to an old marketing legend named Dan Kennedy, and I had taken about 6 months off in my agency to restart and figure out what I really, really wanted to do. I'd, closed my SEO agency, had money in the bank, didn't really have any urgency. And I remember thinking, I want to do something a niche that has some money in it. And Dan Kennedy said, can you believe it? There are lawyers who are broke. Honest to God, lawyers who can't make money. And they have a license to steal money from the general public. And when I heard that, I laughed my ass off and said, that's it. I specialize in lawyers. I want a license to steal money from the general public. And years later, probably about 2016, I joined a group coaching program where I actually met my lady, Ilka, in. And one of the things that happened in there is I started to see people have success in every niche under the sun. And I realized within every niche, there are broke people, and there are successful people, and there are people in the middle, and that's true in every niche. So if you go into roofers, there are roofers who are broke and struggling and need a job in order to pay their bills this weekend. And there are also $100 million roofing companies that have 40 crews that they dispatch every day. If you go into the lawyer space, there's a lawyer who just got out of school who's trying to get his first ever client. And there are law firms that spend $1 million per month just on TV. In every niche, there are tiers of success. And so it's not really as much about the niche. It's more about where you aim within the sub-niche within the niche. And as far as what research to do, I just like to say, keep it really simple. Go where the discussions are happening online. And there's 4 places I like to use that. Facebook groups, Amazon reviews, Quora, which is a question and answer site, and Reddit. And I like to just go and drop in on their conversations and hear what they're actually dealing with. And you'll learn more just by listening. So this is the secret skill for research right here, is just go where they go and put these 2 things up and listen real hard. It sounds simple, but most people don't do that because they start with what's my product, what's my service, how can I forcefully sell that onto people? And when you think about who are these people, what do they want, what are they trying to do, and you put the ears up, then you start to see how your product fits into what they're already trying to do. And it's much more interesting to them when it fits into their plans, because it's their plans they're interested, not in your product or your service. So you get to position it as a way to do that. Chad. So I need some help here, please. Had all of my ad accounts shut down back in the end of 2019 and was unable to get them to reverse it. Long story and frustrating for sure, but here's my problem that resurfaced from it. I had a client that I'd got administrative access to his Facebook biz page to do content as a side benefit, wasn't even running my ads on it. He had used his own accounts, and it only lasted a couple months, then we parted ways. Didn't think much of it, went on to hire others since and had no problems, but this last week he contacted me, said somehow I'm listed as the owner for his page. Actually, my business entity with the shutdown ad accounts is listed as the owner, and he wasn't listed as an official admin. And if you know anything about shutdown ad accounts, part of the restrictions that you can't change ownership roles and rights. Now he's trying to at least get access for his other company to run the ads on his own accounts that is still in good standing, but I can't get through to Facebook or change it on my own. I'm stuck, and it sucks. This business owner even still wants me to run a specific part of his ads. He's got a big successful biz and still likes me through all this, but I obviously cannot even consider that until we get his Facebook access stuff figured out. Can someone help me figure this out for them? I really appreciate it. Thanks. Chad, I hear you. Facebook is such a fucking pain in the ass, especially the last year. I'm on my 6th band ad account. I actually had the same thing. I had someone hack my account, and then I tried to get access restored. They changed my ownership level, and because I was banned, it took me probably a month, and I probably had to have, 7, 8 conversations with them, but they eventually did fix it. Having said that, if he hasn't been using that page, which it doesn't sound like, just create a new one. That's way easier than trying to get restored access to a page they barely even fucking use. So I would say just have them create a new page, start new, brand new, especially if it's just for ads. You don't need activity and all the stuff going on page. Just make a copy, put all the stuff up and say, here, use this one, set them as the admin. You'll make your life far, far easier in the long run. So I know it's not easy, but in the meantime, just keep contacting Facebook, see if you can get it back. But no guarantees, because Facebook's just, the Zuckerberg's fucking crazy. That's how it is. Okay, CK, I noted weekend ads performance are consistently worse than weekdays. Why and how shall I mitigate this? CK, it's hard to say for sure without knowing your niche. I notice actually the opposite. So when I run ads for lawyers, it took me a lot of years to figure this out, but I could never explain it. But Sundays, my ad performance always doubled, tripled, quadrupled, but just for that one day a week. And then it would go back to whatever our regular performance was. And I never really understood why, and it wasn't just like an aberration. It kept happening again and again and again. Like every Sunday, our ad performance peaked up. So it seems like you're having the opposite, where like Monday to Friday your ads work, and then Sunday it disappears, especially in the middle of summer. There's usually very good and valid reasons. So for like us, what I found out when I actually talked to lawyers in person and would meet them at events, they would say, "I work 80 hours a week," and so Sunday's the only day I have a chance to catch up on my email and watch any information or training I want to see, those kind of things. I only really have time to do that on a Sunday because the courts are closed and the clients aren't after me, and Saturday I'm just trying to catch up for the week. So then when they said that, it made a lot of sense. So it's very likely a niche specific thing. If your people like to use their weekends to go out boating and partying, especially at summertime in a lot of places, then they're probably not going to be sitting around converting on your ads. But here's the thing. Once you understand that, as long as you're not spending all your budget, then you can optimize it to spend more money on the days at work. So when I realized this, eventually we reached a point where we were advertising to every lawyer on Facebook that we could. But before that point, I'm like, well, let's spend more money on Sundays since we know it works on Sundays. And I would suggest do the same thing. If it's working more on Monday to Friday, spend more money Monday to Friday and spend less on weekends. It's like you don't have to, no need to overthink why it is. Just observe it and kind of adapt with it. So it looks like all the questions we got this week. I love you guys, by the way, in case you didn't know that. And like I mentioned, we got the mastermind trial if you guys are interested in checking that out. And as well, posting some cool stuff to YouTube. We got a whole bunch of crazy things going on behind the scenes here. We're growing a whole bunch of food and buying some land, and people are coming to visit from Mexico. So it's an interesting time in our world here. So if I'm a little slow on things, it's not because I don't love you guys. But that's all I got for you guys this week, and I'll upload the replay of this to YouTube for those of you guys or those of you who follow me on YouTube. I guess it's not a replay, it's the first version. That's all I got. May the force be with you.